Every animal on Earth eats raw. The lion, the gorilla, the chimpanzee. They eat what they find, the way nature made it. No preparation, no transformation. Just teeth, jaw, and time. Except one species. Somewhere between 2 and 1 million years ago, a single lineage of primates did something no other animal had ever done, consistently, deliberately, across generations. They took their food and they burned it first. And that decision rewired everything. The human brain is metabolically obscene. It consumes roughly 20% of your total body energy, while accounting for only 2% of your body weight. No other organ in the animal kingdom demands that kind of tax. So, here is the evolutionary problem. A bigger brain requires more energy, but gathering enough raw food to fuel a bigger brain takes so much time and effort that you have no energy left to use the bigger brain. It is a biological ceiling, and for millions of years, every primate hit it. Fire is, at its chemical core, an external digestive system. When you expose starch to heat, the tightly wound molecular chains unravel. The digestive enzymes in your gut can now access them instantly, rather than spending hours breaking them down mechanically. Proteins denature, their structures open up, becoming dramatically easier to absorb. The caloric yield of the same piece of food, cooked versus raw, can increase by up to 50%. The fossil record tells the story in bone. Homo habilis, our earlier ancestor, had a wide, barrel-shaped torso built to house a massive digestive system. It needed that gut to extract enough nutrition from raw food. Then Homo erectus appears in the record, roughly 1.8 million years ago. Smaller gut, narrower torso, a brain 50% larger than anything that came before. The energy freed from digestion went directly upward into the skull. Our ancestors outsourced their gut to the flame and bought a brain with the savings. Here is the paradox. Chimpanzees understand what cooked food is. Given the choice, they consistently prefer it. The taste, the texture, the ease of chewing. In a 2015 study, researchers found that chimps would willingly wait for food to be cooked rather than eating it raw immediately. They demonstrated patience, planning, an understanding of transformation. They had, in essence, every cognitive prerequisite for cooking, except one. Chimps in the wild have been documented observing fires with unusual calm, not fleeing in blind panic, but watching, studying the flame. But watching a fire and controlling one are separated by a cognitive gulf that no other primate has ever crossed. Controlling fire requires something that almost nothing else in nature demands: planning for a future state that doesn't exist yet. You have to gather fuel before you need it, protect the ember before it dies, feed the fire before it goes cold. What our ancestors developed wasn't just fire use, it was fire stewardship. The cognitive ability to maintain a resource across time, to think, this fire must survive the night, so I must act now. That is the same mental architecture that underlies agriculture, writing, civilization. It may have begun here. Around a fire, someone decided to keep alive. In the northern Cape of South Africa, there is a cave called Wonderwork. In 2012, archaeologists found something extraordinary inside it: microstratigraphic evidence of controlled fire use dating back roughly 1 million years. Burnt bone fragments, burnt plant ash, in deliberate layers. This wasn't a wildfire. Someone built a fire here, repeatedly, over time. Wonderwork Cave may be the oldest kitchen on Earth. The fire did something beyond cooking food. It created a gathering point. For the first time, a group of humans had a reason to stay in one place after dark, a defensible, warm, lit space that predators avoided. Archaeologists believe this forced proximity around the hearth may have been the crucible of language. You're together in the dark for hours. You need to communicate. You develop vocabulary, narrative, social bonds. The campfire didn't just cook our food, it may have cooked our culture. The hearth also introduced something new to human social structure: specialization. Someone had to guard the fire. Someone else could go further to gather fuel and food, knowing the fire would be there when they return. This is the seed of division of labor, of trust, of the social contract. The same organizational logic that runs a hospital, a city, a supply chain may have its first expression in one person staying behind to tend the flame so the group could survive. Before fire, our ancestors slept in trees because the ground at night was a death sentence. Predators owned the dark. A maintained fire changed that calculus entirely. Large predators avoid fire. The ground became safe. And so we came down, permanently. Our bodies began to reflect it. Our grasping feet slowly became platforms for walking. Our grip strength declined. Our posture straightened. The fire didn't just change what we ate. It changed where we lived, how we slept, and the shape of the bodies we passed down to our children. The most powerful evidence that cooking made us human isn't in the fossil record. It's in your saliva right now. Humans carry significantly more copies of the AMY1 gene than any other primate. AMY1 produces salivary amylase, the enzyme that begins breaking down starch the moment food enters your mouth. Neanderthals had 2 copies. Denisovans had 2 copies. Modern humans carry up to 20. Your body evolved a specialized tool for processing cooked starch. The fire isn't just something we use, it's something our genome anticipated. Look at what happened to our jaws. Our early ancestors had massive, projecting jaws with thick enamel molars built like grinding mills, necessary for breaking down tough, fibrous raw food. Modern humans have the smallest jaws in the entire history of the genus Homo. Our wisdom teeth now erupt into jaws too small to contain them, which is why millions of people need them surgically removed. The fire did the mechanical work, so the jaw had no reason to stay large. Over hundreds of thousands of years, it didn't. Here's the uncomfortable implication hiding at the end of this story. We are no longer biologically capable of thriving on a completely raw diet. We did not just adopt cooking as a technology, we built it into our biology over hundreds of thousands of years. We are, at the genetic level, a cooked food species. Remove the fire, and we are not fully equipped to survive without it. Every civilization that has ever existed began around a fire. Every cuisine, every culture, every kitchen on Earth is a variation on the same invention. One species somewhere in Africa deciding to eat their food not the way it was found. The gorilla is stronger than you. The chimpanzee is faster. The elephant has better memory. Many animals have sharper senses, tougher bodies, more effective natural weapons. But you have something none of them developed. You have the fire and the brain it built.